What's up, friends? Welcome back to Rooted, Wisconsin. Appreciate you for clicking another episode. Grateful to have you here. Today's episode is with Justin Schmick from the Schmick Insurance Agency and a whole lot more. Excited to drop the conversation. Justin actually reached out when I made a TikTok about another podcast that was started in Wisconsin and a guest that I asked to be on and then created the podcast and led to this whole chain of events. And that's why Justin reached out to be on the pod. Does a lot of cool stuff. One thing we talk about is career transition. Justin was a law enforcement officer for I think like 7 years and then obviously decided to take his career in a different direction. He's passionate about marketing. He's passionate about insurance, which we talk about a little bit, not too much, but some. And also has a huge social media following by doing dad jokes online. And we talk about all of those things in his career path. We talk about our shared love of Wisconsin and our shared non-love of the Vikings and the Bears in Illinois and Minnesota. I mean, state-wise, more Illinois. Team-wise, definitely both. We talk about Wisconsin supper clubs and his favorite one down in his geographic area of Omro. And social media and mental health. You know, we get into that once in a while, so we talked about that too. He's got almost 200,000 followers on Facebook, so he's kind of ridden the wave that he never expected to have, by the way. He's kind of ridden the wave of having that happen and using it to grow a business. How do you navigate the Creator Fund? A lot of different things. So it was great talking with Justin. And no dad jokes dropped, surprisingly. So might get a little bit different content if you're one of his followers coming from over. Big shout out to our sponsors at Carouser, bringing a non-alcoholic beverage into your social scenarios that you can use as we enter into a new year. Maybe some of you thought about drinking a little bit less in 2026. Carouser can certainly help you do that. Visit carouser.com and they'll ship it right to your door. Also, a shout out to our sponsors at Epic Mortgage, trying to ease the burden that can be eased of buying a house. It can be stressful. It's of course expensive, and there's a lot of stuff to learn. Let the great folks at Epic Mortgage show you about the people-centric view that they have of mortgage and lending and helping you get into a home. And thirdly, shout out to Genuine Lynn. We've got our new Rooted Wisconsin apparel in. Send us a DM if you're interested. There's plenty more of this where this is coming from. And check out Genuine Lynn's store. Of course, they do a bunch of cool apparel. Another cool side of what she does, she has an Etsy store where she'll make custom shadow boxes or trinkets, custom things that represent something you want them to. I know that's kind of cloudy. You'll have to go to her website to learn more because I don't have enough time to explain it, but super cool. She's really creative, and one of her main focuses is customer service and is really responsive, really good at working with you to bring your creative direction to life. For me, in making apparel for the podcast, interviewing is my specialty, not creating apparel, and she was super helpful. And this is pretty straightforward. The logo got Wisco Roots on the back. I think with Lynn's help, I'll be able to bring to life a lot more creative things in the realm of apparel. So stay tuned for that too. But without further ado, let's get in the episode with Justin.
As the years have passed, so have the ways. We've tried to lift our neighbors.
Been telling everybody this story. When I started the pod, I would do this intro live into the camera, and then I'd come to the guest.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like sweating bullets, super, super nervous that it was actually starting or whatever. So we just kind of start chatting, and then wherever the episode starts, we'll just take it off from there. But I know where I want to start with you.
Okay.
Because I added you on LinkedIn soon after you reached out. Funny how we got connected, just in general. But I added you on LinkedIn, and one thing I love talking about is career trajectories, chasing passions, and not being afraid to, jump into something if even if it's different to you or something.
Yeah.
Saw on your LinkedIn, you were a police officer for a while.
Yeah.
Went to school for that.
Yep.
And then at some point transitioned out of that to do something else. What's the story, man? We got to start there.
I mean, that was a great job. I had a lot of fun with that job. It was never a passion for me. A lot of law enforcement, they're like, they've wanted to be a cop their whole life. Me, I met a really pretty girl, and she said that I had to get a real job or she wouldn't marry me. So, for me, that's what pushed me into that, because I had a buddy that was in law enforcement, and I was like, well, he's an idiot. If he can do this, I can do this. So,
and he's your buddy, so you can say that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what got me into it. So I never had a real true passion for it, but I did for like 8 years or so, and it was kind of getting to the point where I was having kids, and I would see them coming home as I'm going to work, and I was just I didn't want to do that anymore. So I went, and I always wanted to be in business. I always wanted to do something in sales or marketing or anything like that, and I only had a degree in law enforcement. That's not going to get you very far in the marketing world. So I went and kind of shadowed a couple people. So I shadowed somebody that does real estate. My friend Megan at Coldwell, she's like runs Coldwell now, but then she was just a realtor. So I, kind of went along with her for a little bit and learned what she did. Then I had a buddy that worked at Thrivent, so I tried to learn about that. No, I can't. I can't be trusted with somebody else's finances. I barely have mine figured out. So that was nothing. I couldn't do it. And then I had a buddy that was a farmer's insurance agent, and so I went and sat down with him, and he showed me his 5 years of how he got paid and how it works, and I was like, this just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And really, through all my career, I've done, since high school, I've done everything from screwing nuts and bolts together to, law enforcement. So I've done a lot of stuff, and there's only been a couple things that have really clicked. And one was law enforcement. I did well. I finished, high in my class and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as I started learning about insurance, it just clicked immediately. It just made sense. It all, the way that you accumulate policies and money and all that kind of stuff for insurance, it's I liken it to like making a snowman, right? You make that big bottom part, right? And you're rolling that snowball, and you're making it as big as you can, and you get paid on renewals. So when the clients come back up again the next year, you get paid again, right? So at a certain point, you roll this snowball to where it's like nice and big and how you feel comfortable. And then all you're doing, every once in a while, some snow falls off. All you're doing is just maintaining it, putting it back on, keeping that snowball the size that you want it. So it all just made sense, and that's got me right into it immediately.
That's awesome, man. There's one more layer I want to get to, but one, I love it. This happened with one previous guest. So the set of circumstances that led to you reaching out, I think is hilarious, because in the video that you saw me, I one of the lines I said was, I don't like insurance companies either.
Yeah.
And you reached out, didn't even think about that. I had a previous guest who is a local politician, and I share the same name as the guy he beat in his race. And it was a real contentious race, And he didn't know that I have no affiliation with that guy at all. I didn't even think of it when I reached out to him to be on the podcast. And what I thought was super cool is he didn't even bring it up. Said he would come on the pod, came and talked. We didn't talk about it till after the conversation that I wasn't connected with that guy. And I liken that to this scenario.
Yeah.
Because in that video, I said that. And then when I added you on LinkedIn, I was like, dang, he sells insurance. And I said it in the video.
Yeah, listen, man, I get it. Nobody likes insurance. Nobody grows up and I'm going to be an insurance guy someday. That's not a thing. I understand that completely. And I get why you don't. I still have to pay for my insurance too. And I don't like it when it goes up either.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
And that's exactly what it is. It's nothing against, the individual insurance person. It's the concept.
Yeah.
Of insurance that sometimes grind my gears. But I thought that was both hilarious, and it speaks a lot about a person. Where you reached out, didn't say anything about that. I didn't even know you were in insurance. And I had walked and that leads me to my next question. You got 300,000 followers on Facebook or something. How did that happen?
175 on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay,
maybe 200 across all the platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you get into social media, and how did that happen?
Super crazy scenario. Not crazy, but so when I left law enforcement, I got into insurance. I owned a farmer's insurance book for 5-6 years, and I got a job offer to do marketing for a restoration company in Oshkosh. And it was a really good offer. And I was like, do I want to keep building the snowball and grinding, or do I want to kind of take a break and go work for somebody else. So I decided, I sold my book back to farmers and went and took this job. And it was for the marketing rep. So like the person that goes out and like meets insurance agents and plumbers and stuff and gets them to refer their clients to us when, water losses and fires and things like that. Like that was my job, is to go out and shake hands and pull on doors and everything. Well, my first day was the first day of the lockdown, the COVID lockdown. So I'm supposed to be out there pulling on doors, kissing babies, shaking hands, all that stuff. Everything shut down. My very first day, I couldn't leave the office. So for the first couple months or few weeks, I'm just sitting in there, like I'm going on YouTube. I'm just hanging out. I go into my manager's office and I'm like, hey man, I'm not going to lose my house if you need to send me home for a week or so. Like I'm okay financially. Like if I'm not doing anything, like I'm not doing any work. And he was like, you know what? It gets kind of tense around here sometimes. And you always come out and you say dumb stuff and everybody laughs. Why don't you just do that for now? And I'm like, well, okay, I guess. So that's pretty
Best
much
job in the world.
That's pretty much like, so that's a lot of it was that. Like I started learning how to edit video. Like I just started watching YouTube videos on how to edit video and I found the right program. I said, what's the easiest program for somebody as dumb as I am to be able to, edit videos together and shoot videos? And my manager and I, Matt Snell, who actually has a podcast now too, it's a fishing one. We started just shooting video because I can't go see anybody, but we still want to have those touches. So everything was on their Facebook and I just started making that stuff. And then the front desk girl at that place was her name was Heather, and she was very standoffish. So like she had her, the front desk, like the answering voice, like it's like, oh hello, thank you for calling. But then as she hangs up, she's like, you man,
Mm-hmm.
she was very standoffish, like in short. So I started telling her dad jokes from my office because it was kitty corner from hers. So I would just say, hey Heather, blah blah blah, and she'd call me an idiot and it'd be fine. And then one day I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna record myself telling her jokes and I'll put it on TikTok. And so I did it every day during the week. I would do another joke because I had a joke book that I just picked up, and I would just tell her more jokes and more jokes and more jokes. And one day I did one about bees and it just got like 2 million views and it just blew up. And it added a whole bunch to my TikTok. And as that was going on, I was also posting them on Facebook, but I wasn't paying attention. I would just post it on both places. And then I got an email from Facebook saying, hey, would you like to be in the creator fund? And I'm like, why? Like, who's paying attention to this? And I look and I got 35,000 followers.
You hadn't even been
I
following
had no idea. No clue I had any followers on Facebook. No idea whatsoever. And I think I'm going through like all the comments and all this kind of like it was crazy. I had no idea whatsoever. So of course I'm like, yeah, I'll be in the creator fund. And then I started focusing more on putting things on Facebook. I edited on Facebook. I put it there first because that's the one that kind of picked up faster. That's where the market that wants to hear my terrible jokes is. So I did that while I was working at Acquire. I worked there for a couple years, and I left, and I had a friend named Steph, who I do these videos with now, who worked for the city of Amarillo. That I lived there, and I was like a block away. So I was like, hey, I don't know if this is going to be a thing. Like by that time I had like 65,000 followers or something like that. So I don't know if this is going to be a thing, but you want to try, like, just see if I come and say, hey, Steph, instead of hey, Heather, and see if it still goes. And she's like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. And so we did a couple, and they just 400,000, 500,000, couple million views. Like it just blew up, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. I've sort of plateaued now. Like 175 is probably about where I've been sitting for a while on Facebook. But yeah, that's it was just randomly started telling jokes, and they started to hit, and that was how it went.
That's so funny,
That's
man.
crazy.
What about that first marketing role? How did you get hired to do marketing when you hadn't been doing that? Did you have some experience in the realm previously?
No, I just had a lot of experience with like networking and going out and like making a name for myself in the insurance industry.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time going to chamber events and I said yes to everything I could to get my face out there and get out there as much as possible. And I think that's what they were looking for in this role, was somebody to kind of spread their brand around a little bit more. So
they needed the office extrovert.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, but that was, I mean, it was a great job. It was a perfect job for me, but I can't work for other people. I'm not good at it. I'm just not good at it. So I had to go back into insurance and start my own thing back up again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what, I like digging into like the human nature of things. What satisfied you about your law enforcement role? And then what kind of made you think like, something else is for me? Like why wasn't the passion there, do you think?
It was just always a job. It wasn't anything that, like, I thought it was cool. It was fun. It was fun to like never know what you're going to do at work. But I think after a while, you start to get sort of numb to the world.
Mm.
You see so much stuff that's not great
Mm-hmm.
that you kind of stop trusting people and you stop having any emotion on things. 'Cause as soon as you add emotion into things that you're doing, you're going to make mistakes. So you have to be numb. You have to have no emotion when you go into a situation. It's got to be logical. And that just started carrying over into everyday life too. So I think for me, that was a big one. But yeah.
That's very real in that job, man. That's something I think about a lot. I feel like maybe not so much as of late. I saw a really cool episode of Rogan actually, where there was a guy on their awesome guest talking about psychedelic therapy treating PTSD and law enforcement officers.
Sure.
And it's cool that that conversation's being had because that's really real, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I worked in small towns. I didn't have a whole lot of PTSD stuff, and there's a lot of guys that work really hard and get in the really scary stuff. I wasn't in the really scary stuff. So.
Yeah. Regardless, though, I mean, still, we live in a social climate where you pull over 5 cars a day. You walk up to them. That's 5 different people that you have no idea who's behind the window, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's, and then you got you said you got kids to go home at the end of the day too, and there's a lot of stuff that takes a toll.
One of my favorite things about that job, I had enough time because I worked in a small department to talk my way out of situations instead of fight.
Okay.
There's so many times when there was just big 250, 300-pound guys that are like, hey, you're not going to arrest me. I'm going to beat your ass. And I would say, yeah, you might be right. There's a good chance if you fight me that you're going to win. But there's 15 guys coming here that just are going to beat the living tar out of you. So we can fight and I'll get my ass kicked and you'll get your ass kicked and you're still going to go to jail. Or put the cuffs on the front. You pick the music on the radio and we take a nice trip. And most of the time they're like, yeah, all right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That sounds better. I know it does.
Nice.
Yeah.
So where did why the dad jokes? Is that like part of your, is that something you were doing before you started telling it to the front desk person, or that just happened at that point?
Where that happened. And then it just kind of just took off from there. So I've just been, people send me dad jokes now. So I'll get like messages, a lot of messages every day with different dad jokes. I'll find them. I follow some different, dad joke Facebook pages where they come up. Like, not some of it's original stuff that I think of, but not very much. Most of it's just dad jokes that have been out there forever that I'm just telling somebody else.
Yeah. I know a guy who crafted an entire personal brand in his job around being the dad joke guy. He works in education. Super cool guy. And I'm pretty sure he'd be the president of the college if he wanted to, just because everybody likes him.
Yeah.
He's funny, he's personable, and it brings some levity to the room, similar to the front desk person who maybe was a bit of a curmudgeon, but you make him laugh a little bit.
Yep, I got in. Yeah.
Good for the goose, good for the gander. Man, so what's the conversation like around, like, going back to that thing about me saying that, and people in general just don't like insurance.
Yeah.
What is that conversation like as an agent, as someone who, sells insurance and obviously has to advocate for it?
Mm-hmm.
What are the sides of the industry that people don't see that you do?
I think there's a lot missing in the education department in insurance. A lot of people have no idea what those numbers mean that are on their policies. A lot of times that's the first thing I do when anybody comes in. I say, hey, has anybody ever told you what this all means? And 90% of the time they're like, no, we have an insurance guy and he just does that. Well, yeah, that's great, but you should know, like, this is your life. This is your stuff. You should know what it is and why you have it, right? That's one of the aspects. The other part is, like, insurance was designed to help in a catastrophic situation that would normally bankrupt you, right? You buy a brand new car and you have a loan on it, you want insurance because you don't want to be upside down. You don't want to have to pay that loan back and get another car, right?
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere along the line, insurance companies started giving these little things like glass breakage coverage
Mhm.
and offering these little like towing and all that kind of stuff, which is all great, right? But insurance companies look at claim frequency, not necessarily always the amount of the claim. So if you start having a lot of little claims here and there, insurance companies notice that, and you are now more of a risk to have a bigger claim. So not a lot of agents talk about that part of it. They're like, "Well, we have all this coverage for you, so call us if you need us." Well, yes, okay, great, but do you need to make that claim? Does making that claim help you in the long run? Because Uncle Insurance is always going to get his money back.
Mhm.
It's essentially a long-term loan that you're getting, right? The same with home insurance. Home insurance is for catastrophic losses, and people start like, we have hailstorms here quite often, right? So roofing companies come around and say, "Oh, well, you can get a new roof. You need a new roof now because there's damage on your neighbor's roof. I'll bet you I can get you a claim." And that's one of those things that, like, yeah, maybe, but is it enough damage to like make your roof leak, or are you just trying to get a brand new roof? And if you're just trying to get a brand new roof, now you're going to make a claim, and so is your entire neighborhood, and the claim frequency in that neighborhood is going to go up, and so are the rates
Mhm.
because everybody's making claims in those spots, and not a lot of people talk about that kind of stuff. And it's not. I don't want to blame. I'm not going to blame anybody. It is what it is. Claim frequency's up. A lot of companies lose money every year on auto insurance. A lot of insurance companies because there's just, I don't know what happened since like COVID. Everybody came out of the lockdown and was like, "Yeah, balls to the walls, let's go." And the claim frequency's higher. The cost to fix vehicles is way up
Mhm.
because not as many people are in the job market, so they have to pay higher wages, and it costs more to fix things. So there's a lot of times that like it's more cost efficient for an insurance company to total the vehicle than it is to try to fix it, just because of all the different bells and whistles that are on there and how much that all costs. So all that kind of stuff factors into these rate changes, and I can understand why people would be upset about it. Like, I get it. Like, why does my insurance keep going up? I'm not really getting anything out of this. But what you're getting is peace of mind. Like, and you're paying a small amount for that peace of mind. Like, if you think about it, like, let's say you have homeowners insurance, right? You have a $20,000 loss. You have a $1,000 deductible. Think about what it would cost you monthly to take out a loan for $20,000 compared to what it costs you for the year
Mhm.
to pay for your home insurance, right? You have to figure it as just like a loan to value ratio, right? Would it cost you more to get a $20,000 loan than it would be to just pay your $1,000 a year home insurance and get that paid out? Of
Mhm.
course. So it just depends on how you think about it and how you look at it.
Yeah. That's one thing. So I have this concept in my brain, and it's part of the reason that brings me to probably my perception of the industry. I think with home, it's a little bit of a stretch just because it could be so much.
Mhm.
Like your home's $400,000. It's going to take a long time to do this plan. But for auto insurance, I've always thought, why can't I like fund an account that is my money still?
Mhm.
And then if I can prove that I have this money, I don't have to pay because it's the law. You have to have car
Yeah.
insurance, right? And I get there's like liability and a bunch of other stuff that comes into it. But why can't I fund to an account, keep my own money,
Yeah.
and then say, okay, I don't need to pay this anymore because I have X amount of dollars here.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's one thing that I've thought about a lot of
Yeah.
times. And of course, it would probably be like a bunch of things, right? It would be a legislative nightmare, like who oversees these accounts, blah blah blah, who does all that stuff, and it would increase the barrier to entry. So, like,
Yeah.
if that was the case, then you'd have to have an extra, $20,000 or whatever when you buy a car, whatever.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me that could exist because it's never, like I said, it's never the insurance person that I know. Like
Mhm.
my best friend's dad is my insurance
Yeah.
agent. He's a great dude, I love it. He's a great guy. He's there if something happens. I call Gino and he hooks me up
Mhm.
with whatever needs to happen. But I think the part about me that gets it is there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no there's no day that I can say that, okay, I won't need to buy this anymore. I always have to buy it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's a transfer of risk. You got to think about what that's worth to you, right? And then you got to think about how, like, let's say you just have your base coverage, right? Let's say you have $100,000 per person in an incident that you caused the accident, $300,000 aggregate for the incident, right? And that covers your liability. So that covers like anything people can sue you for, right? So lost wages, injuries, hospital bills, rehab if they've got that, let alone like if they're, incapacitated, they lose a leg or whatever, that kind of stuff. So let's say you just have that 300,000, right? How long? I don't make a lot of money. And you're a teacher, you can't make money. So how long would it take you to save $300,000? And how much would you have to put away every month to get to that point? And so that's the transfer of risk part. Like, do you want to have a 300? You can self-insure. That's great. And you can just go to minimums for insurance for the state. 2550 is the minimums. And then you can self-insure past that if you'd like to. But you have to save at least 300,000, if not upwards of $1 million just in case.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where it's not just the property loss, right? It's all of the other stuff you're liable for when you get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And have that happen.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fascinating, man.
I mean, we're going to get you either way. I'm going to get you.
It's the best. It's true, though. It's true.
It's one of those things, like, you have to have it. I always tell people, like, listen, insurance sucks. You don't want it. You have to have it. At least have it with somebody that's looking out for your best interests. That's fun to talk to. Like, just find somebody that you mesh with that you trust. Because you're going to have it. But always have an agent. I do not recommend anybody just go online and get it themselves. Because there's so many nuances in the industry and in the coverages that if you don't have a license in it, an education in it, there's things that you're going to miss and you're going to be underinsured.
Yeah, it couldn't be more timely with that. I actually had a student do a presentation this week, actually, and she's buying a book of business. She's an insurance agent right now, and she's buying out the agency. She's going to be the owner now. And she did her marketing analytics presentation on insurance. And it was funny because it ended up being very insurance focused and not so much marketing focused. But all of that stuff you just said came up, and I learned more in that hour than I knew about insurance my whole life.
Yeah.
About, she said the exact same thing about, like you can log into any portal right now, a big insurance company, and you can sign up for your coverage. But do you know what type of and how much coverage you need and all of that stuff? And I think that might be another thing that kind of maybe creates that feeling for folks, because like we don't like stuff we don't understand, right?
Yeah.
So you cut this check every 6 months for your car, or yearly you see your home insurance come out of your escrow and you're like, damn it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So connecting the social media stuff in that, I'm assuming they seem kind of maybe disconnected, right? Like you got into that by happenstance, and you're a business owner, but a lot of your followers probably aren't local. They're from all over.
Yeah.
So do the two overlap? Like, are you still in the creator fund in Facebook? And is that like, that's obviously a little fiscal benefit, but have you overlapped it with your business at all, or has that happened? Yeah.
Yeah, I am still in the creator fund, and it does okay. Yeah, it does. I'm really bad at like, I don't have a lot of overhead on the Facebook side of things.
Yeah.
So it really stinks around tax time. Like, it's pretty tough. So I'm fine if it doesn't like blow up. But yeah, the business itself, I can't track it. I can't track what's coming in because of
attribution's tough, man.
Dad joke videos, right? But what I see it as a digital billboard. So my logo's out there. I'm usually wearing some kind of logoed apparel and everything. Most of my Facebook page it's got dad jokes and insurance stuff. So if you're watching my stuff, it's automatically there. You know what I do. And I don't want to throw that in people's faces. I don't want to be like salesy and say, hey, come buy insurance, or here's why you should buy insurance. Like, nobody cares. I know that. I get it. Like, there's a lot. I'm a nerd about it. I like it. And I like talking about it, but nobody likes listening to it. Like, you're probably going to get a lot less people watching this as soon as you start talking about insurance.
Yeah.
But it's like a digital billboard. So if they see me, they know I have an agency. They know what I do. especially like LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn's one of the ones that where that crosses over a little bit more, because I don't do what normal people do on LinkedIn. I put those jokes on there, and that's what I do. I don't put the regurgitated stuff that corporate says you should put. I don't do that. So that sets me apart a little bit there in that scenario, and I think I get some decent, traction in the business world through that.
100%. I have a previous guest who did the same thing with like hunting and fishing content. He started putting it on LinkedIn, and that's why I asked him to be on the pod. That's how I met him, because I was fat. He was getting a ton of great traction. He was getting good leads for his business. He's like a digital media guy. He makes video content, marketing strategist type thing. And he was putting on his hunting and fishing stuff on LinkedIn, and no one else was doing it. And it resonated with me, and I could see it was resonating with other people. And that's, I think, what oftentimes the proof in the pudding that people miss. Like, everybody's looking for this secret sauce of like how to reach people. And it's like, don't try to reach them.
Yeah. Just be you. And those people will find you if they want to. Like
exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's cool. So there's a couple themes here that we can really dig into that are kind of like recurring themes on the podcast. One is entrepreneurship. Sure. You mentioned earlier, you always kind of had a penchant for that. You said earlier, you can't work for somebody, you want to work for yourself.
Yeah.
Did you always know that? Did it develop into that? How did that transpire? Because I see people constantly who have that feeling, but they don't take the risk.
Well, it's scary.
It's scary as hell.
Yeah.
So was it always like that for you?
I think I was always a bad employee, and I just didn't realize why I was a bad employee. Like I was just, I didn't, if it didn't make sense to me what they were having us do or having me do, I wanted to question it all the time. And I told people, even when I was working at the restoration place, I'd have insurance people, because they knew I was in insurance before, asked me to come work for them because they liked my marketing style. And I would tell them every time, you'll fire me. You'll fire me in 3 months. I guarantee it. So I said, what I'm going to charge you to hire me, you won't make back fast enough to make it worth it. Like, it's not going to work. And you're not going to like the way I do things. Like, and it's okay. Like, it's just not going to happen. So for me, like, it took me a while to realize why I was a bad employee and why I sucked at it so much. And it was just that I don't mind taking direction from anybody or constructive criticism or anything like that, but I have an idea and a path that I see for myself or my business or the business I'm working in, and that's the path I'm taking. And I don't do well with being pushed off of that path when I know that it's the right one to go down.
Isn't that such a weird thing, man? Because so another like interest space of mine is leadership. And as a leader, I think one of the most effective things you can do is just empower your people and let them
cook.
Yeah, let them go. Let them cook. And a lot of time it can be a plethora of different things. It can be risk averse. A lot of times it's ego. People's ego gets in the way of stopping people from doing something. But there's a certain value in that gets squashed so many times that leads people with that mindset of saying, well, I can't do this for somebody else because I've been quelled, I've been squashed, my ideas, so I have to do it for myself. When in reality, if effective leaders embrace that correctly, someone could have had that, like, in your skill set and talent, if they let you cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
And isn't that a weird thing?
Yeah. And a lot of times I explain this to people that work for agencies, like insurance agencies, all the time. So I'm always looking to see if I can find somebody talented to come and work with us. Right. And my partner, Deanna, she came over because of one thing I said to her. I said, how good does that agency that you're working for do? She said, really well. Like, we're a top tier agency. I said, okay, how much money have you made for that agent? Oh, so much. How much did you get? Well, like this much. It's like, if you can do it, if you're this good at it, why are you doing it for somebody else? Why are you making somebody else money? Come make yourself money here. So and my pitch for her was, I don't want anything. I don't want anything from you. We're 50-50 right from the get-go. Like, you can come in, you don't have to buy in, nothing. I knew she was talented. I knew that she fit exactly what I was trying to do. And I didn't want money from her, right? I wanted her to succeed and us to succeed together. And I think like that's the thing I tell people all the time. Like, if you're good at it, don't do it for somebody else. Go do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And that's where it's bad is a relative term, right? Because you reference yourself as a bad employee. The first thing I thought of was 10 minutes ago in this conversation, you went up to somebody and said, hey, like, I'm not really doing anything here.
Yeah.
Send me home. That's the opposite of a bad employee, right? But bad can mean so many different things. And that same person, even though they kept you for that, bad could mean that you have this awesome idea and they're like, nah, we can't do that. It's risky. It's not what, the brand, we want the brand to be or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's bad's relative. And I think that thing is in far more people than who let it come out.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that. And the flip side of the other side of the coin is there's a certain risk that someone doesn't have to take by being the W-2 employee, right? Like the money's coming in, you go along to get along.
Yep.
And then you end up in these revolving doors of like, man, what jumps out in my mind is just like pharmaceutical ads. They're always the worst ads you'd ever see. And I think about I'm passionate about marketing, obviously. We're talking. And I think about the people making who needs to create that? Like, okay, we need to get the 3 people that look right, that represent our target audience, and we need them to gallop through a little field here a little bit, and then we have to put our disclaimer on. That sounds so goddamn boring to me.
You know what's crazy about that though? That works. I know. That's the crazy part. Like that work, because for me, like that, one of the things for me, I don't want to market. Right now we just do word of mouth marketing. I pay from mailers. And I only pay for mailers because I really didn't think they would work. And they're like, hey, you have to do this to work with our company or whatever. And so I was like, fine, I'll do it. And I hate those. I throw them away. I use them to start fires. It works. People read them and call. I don't understand. Like, some of these marketing things, like, I get it. Like, you watch one of those commercials, you're like, this is the dumbest commercial I've ever seen. But I'll bet you it works.
Yeah.
And I think that says more about us as people in general than it does really about the marketing guy at that company.
Yeah, the consumers in general. Yeah. It's interesting because there are some very, very, especially at the like company level, so like Progressive, State Farm, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's some very innovative thinkers in that space as far as marketing goes.
Yeah.
Like, Progressive has done a great job over the years with Flow, and then they added those other 2 that you could tell were to different target demographics and stuff, and real innovators in the space. So I don't know.
We have Progressive, in case anybody wants to know. Just give me a call.
Nice. Yeah. How does that work, man? Like some people, like some agencies will affiliate with like one specific one, and then others, I'm sure there's a word for it in your industry, but can sell or can write different policies with different places.
Yeah.
How does that work in the insurance industry?
So there's captive agents and there's independent agents. Captive agents would work for your Farmers, your State Farms, your American Families. They can only write business for those companies and companies affiliated with them. So some of them have some spin-off companies that, like, I think American Family has the General.
Most of them do now, right? They bought out smaller ones. Yeah.
Yep. And then independent, you can write business for whoever you want. I don't get those captive companies, obviously, because they only, they stay in that zone. But I can any insurance provider that is willing to give me a contract, I can write insurance for them. So what I like about that, because I was in the captive space and now I'm in the independent space, what I like about that is when those rates do go up, we've got other options. I can send out, your information to a few other companies and give you some comps on, did it go up a lot? Is it normal for the industry? Like, are we in a normal spot, or is this a better rate for you? So when I got back into insurance, I did not want to work for a captive agency. I wanted to start an independent, just so that I have more options for the people in my book of business.
Okay. That's interesting. And it sounds like it's probably as confusing to start working in insurance as it is the first time for somebody buying insurance.
It was a 6-month process, just getting everything together and getting appointments, and it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's talk about marketing a little bit more. Was that was like the creative side, that understanding consumers, was that always in the back of your mind, or was that like grown and learned? How did you?
Yeah, it's just kind of been from observation, just kind of seeing how people react to things, right? Like and if you really stop and pay attention and watch people, like even just the people in your immediate circle, you can see how different. Like for me, I think everything is marketing. Everything is. Absolutely everything that you do is shown to you is all marketing.
That's one of my colleagues' famous lines. She says, "Marketing is life."
Yeah, it's everything. So, it's you can kind of tell just by watching people as I'm talking about insurance. When I first started, I could see their eyes gloss over as I started to talk about it, right? And so then I just start thinking about different ways to keep them from glossing over. And I think that's what everybody does, right? They know exactly the colors and the schemes and everything to keep people focused and interested. So, I don't know. Over a long period of time, just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks is pretty much how I figured it out. I figured out whatever I could so far. Like I don't have everything figured out, but I was just screwing up a whole bunch, and that's really the best way to learn.
Yeah, super interesting. So another theme that we can touch on that we regularly get into the podcast, and maybe with having 35,000 followers and not knowing, maybe you haven't experienced this much, but I'd be hard pressed to think so. The connection between when you gain a social media presence, there's a certain amount of online fodder and back and forth that's like just not productive for people. Unexpectedly gaining this following on social media, were there any surprises that you came across that you had to like work through, or like when people interact negatively on your stuff, was that a surprise? How did that develop over gaining an audience?
Yeah, there's a few things that I really picked up from it. One, I'm on the city council in my small town of Amro. So, and Stephanie, my friend, worked for the city at the time. So a lot of people tried to push it into that I was using my high standing as an Amro city councilman to make money off the internet. So they started this whole shut this down thing. And I just, for me, I knew that I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't doing anything illegal. They just didn't understand. And so if I just keep pushing through, they'll shut up. And they did.
Yeah.
They're gone. Well, one's in a nut house now, but the rest of them shut up. That was a satisfying situation. I'm not a bad person, but for that one, I was like, yeah, that's good.
Can we talk about it? What was it?
I can't, like, it was a local person that was very boisterous about a lot of things. And for a long time, like, this person was at one point on the school board and sang Mary Had a Little Lamb to try to filibuster in the middle of a meeting. And at that point, I was like, this person is insane.
Filibustering at the school board. That's a bold move.
Yeah, they just kept going. But I said it for a while. After that, I was like, this person's not 100%. But everybody, it's a small town, so everybody's like, well, she does so much for the town, and so we gotta back her, and da da da. It's like, okay, but she's crazy. And so it all kind of came to fruition at a certain point, and she got put in a hold or whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't want to get into too many details, but it was it sucks because you don't want bad things to happen to people. But it was nice to, like, I'm not crazy. Like, I said this from the beginning. I wasn't the crazy one. But yeah. So anyways, that was one of the big things. Another one that still gets me to this day is the things that people will say on the internet. And I don't feel like they don't understand that it's there, and if I don't delete it, it stays there. Like, I don't mind people being mean to me or saying my jokes are stupid, because they are stupid. That's the rub. Yeah. Like, yes, I know they're stupid. And I think at first, when I first started doing it and it first started taking off, I would get upset that people were saying things, right, and being mean or whatever. And then I started to realize, like, I don't know Dave in Detroit. I will never see this person. Why am I upset? Why do I care what he thinks about my jokes? And also, if he doesn't like them and he keeps commenting, I make more money. So I'm happy to help him write some more stuff if he needs to. So that was one. Like, it took a little while to get past that, but once you're past it and you can make a joke out of it, or sometimes I just like it. Just like, it was good.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're really funny. Like, they'll say really mean things, but they're really funny, and I'll be like, that was good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, nice job. But the one that really gets me is what old boomers will say about Steph. Like, they say the grossest, most inappropriate things on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, I get it. I get if you think things, right? That's fine. Whatever. Well, some of the things, it's probably not even fine for them to think. But to take the time to type it out and hit enter and send it out into the world, like, what are you doing? What are you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
What's your end game? What do you think's going to happen? You think like Steph's going to see it and be like, oh, this guy really likes my boobies. Like, what? Like, why? So like Steph and I tried to start a podcast, but we just were too busy and it wasn't a thing for us. But our first one was titled "Just Be Better." Just like, I'm not an advocate for any kind of ism or anything like that, but don't be gross. Like, it's not that hard to not type that. Even just say it. Say it out loud at home. Like, I like Steph's boobs. Just say it. Don't type it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And then most of the crazy part is, and this is actually kind of fun, I would click on their profile, and their profile picture would be him and his wife, right?
Yeah.
And so then I'd tag his wife.
You would do that nice.
Yeah, and say, hey, Gina, you're going to want to get Dave off the internet today.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd be gone then after that. So,
yeah.
But now I've gotten to the point where at this point, I just block them.
Yeah.
If it's too inappropriate.
And that's the ideal scenario. That's the ideal headspace to get in if you can just kind of realize that. Something I often say is, like, you have to remember the comments section is an embodiment of the entire society.
Yeah.
And
boy, that's a sad thing.
Isn't it? And on the fringes of both sides of those things, there are the people that you ran into in that lady in your town where they are they're not in the right spot, that no one would ever let that comment hold any weight if they met him in person, but it's in writing. So there's no depth or detail behind it. It's just this phrase exists now that you typed.
Mm-hmm.
And people read the comment section, and that gets logged into their mental backlog of things that are in there. And I think in the past, 20-ish years of social media, that has caused us to look at our neighbors differently, look at our friends differently, look at society differently. And it's ideal scenario, healthy scenario, when you can get to the places of understanding that and saying, it's cool. Like, let them say it's going to make me more money. And I wonder what the avenue is to get the vast majority of people there, because I think a lot of people, we're sensitive. Humans are sensitive, and we take those things into account, and it starts it builds inside of people. Yeah. And then, we create this animosity over one another that doesn't have to exist. Yeah. But the latter scenario there, that's such a double-edged sword of, like, if you're a what's considered an attractive female, you can do social media probably easier than some other people and gain a following. On the flip side of it, one of the best stories from the podcast, I had a pole vaulter on from Milwaukee, and she makes awesome content. She's a great athlete, very cool human. And I talked to her about what she experiences from the older boomers you were talking about, and just men in general commenting on our stuff. And she had one where her dad actually did what you did and reached out and, like, alerted the wife of, like, these nasty comments that he had sent. And I just think that's such awesome vigilante justice.
That's so fun. Like, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, just like, because that is amazing. Like, it's one thing to be a dirtball. It's another thing to be a dirtball and then force it upon someone. And then it's a third thing to be a dirtball, force it upon someone, and then do it in a public forum. Yeah.
I don't know that everybody understands. I think that some of those at that level, they don't understand what's happening and where they're typing that. Like you're probably somebody's like drunk uncle,
Yeah.
right? You don't understand what you're doing here,
Mhm.
but it's not good. Like
Yeah.
this is out here for everybody. Anybody can look
Yeah.
at the comments that you've made and find this.
Yeah.
Like most of the time I'll delete them and I'm doing them a favor getting that off of there.
Yeah.
But
Like they have kids and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
wild.
I don't, and like daughters, like, well, oh, what?
Mhm.
I had one where a guy was like, "Hey, I'd really like to get a picture of Steph." And I said, "Would you say that to Steph if you just walk past her on the street? We'd be like, hey, can I get a picture of you?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you implying that I'm some kind of pervert? I'm not a pervert." I was like, "Well, I wasn't, but it seems like you might think you are."
Yeah.
So it's something you might want to get look inside about a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go back to the dealing with the hate type stuff. I every once in a while, like in my networking groups, they'll ask me to do like a 5-minute. You go around. I don't know if you've ever been in a networking group, but they'll ask you to stand up and do your little 10-minute spiel or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the things I like to talk about, especially for people like in groups where there's a lot of people on social media, is and I don't know where I got this. I don't know if it came from a book or I dreamt it or it just popped in my brain. I have no idea. But one day I was kind of like, what if I take 10 people, like I think of 10 people in my life that if I woke up tomorrow and they said what you're doing is wrong and I don't want to talk to you anymore because you're doing it, that would devastate me, right? So I found those 10 people that I care about their opinions the most, right? And I draw a circle around those 10 people. And if it's not one of those 10 people commenting on my stuff, why do I care? Why do I give a crap? Why do I care if somebody in Boston doesn't like what I said or what I'm doing? Like, I'm never going to see, like I said before, I'm never going to see that person. You're not part of my 10. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
That's another perk of being, well, actually, it could be a plus and a minus depending how you look at it. But being a business owner, you don't have to worry about the online snowball tribe coming after you about something. But I think that's one thing that holds people back in that realm a little bit of, so I think of, I got in a little fender bender. This was probably 4 years ago now or something like that. 4 years ago, 5 years ago in the winter. And it was this comical scenario where like there was this roundabout that was glare ice and like nobody could have ever known it. So I was driving up and I got in this little fender bender and like there was a cop there immediately and he asked us to pull into this parking lot. And then I come to find out that they were like they were parked watching this roundabout. And so much of that stuff in my head, I was like, why did that happen? Like, why didn't somebody tell somebody that, like, why don't you park there and put your lights on and say this is something? So, and I didn't do it in a malicious way or a vindictive way or anything, but like I posted about it on social media. I was like, I got this ticket and I ended up getting a ticket out of it, which has ultimately happened for driving too fast for conditions. I was driving like 15 miles an hour into this roundabout because the roads were slippery.
Yeah.
And, this person commented on it, like talking like she had done this deep dive, found where I worked, and like made this comments about it, about, I can't believe you're able to have this position or this opinion and do this job and ...
Mm-hmm.
So one of the few posts in my life I've ever deleted. And like, still to this day, I think I was completely in the right because the rest of the story, when I was parked in that parking lot, I physically watched 4 to 5 other cars spin out in the roundabout. So it was like, this is a ridiculous scenario that I shouldn't have gotten a ticket for. Like it's an accident purely by definition.
Yeah.
And like I took down the post because there was this one lunatic that could have affected like my earning money for my family.
Right.
You know? And I think that's something people run into, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like,
but even in that scenario, if you really think about it, was there some kind of rules about you posting on social media for your job?
No.
So would anything have happened there?
More than likely not.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So like, I'll give you another good example. When I was doing those videos with Steph, we had one person come in, was starting with this posse of people that was trying to make it stop for whatever reason. They didn't like it. They don't like me, whatever. I don't care. But he came in and he had a meeting with me and the mayor and the city administrator and said, you have to stop doing these videos.
The videos.
And I said, why? And he said, because it's illegal. I said, prove it. And he's like, I'm going to call the district attorney. I'm going to get him on the phone and I'm going to file charges on you. I said, let's call him right now. Let's get him on the phone right now. Let's call him. Well, I'm going to do it outside of here. I said, well, all right, here's my number. You tell them to give me a call, and I'm happy to be a cooperative witness and testify for whatever you need me to do. I'll tell them everything I did. Well, you're going to be in trouble. Guess who never heard from the district attorney? Like, people think that they can make these threats and do this stuff, right? Because a lot of people will back down to it. But if you don't back down and you just keep doing whatever you're doing, they'll shut up.
Yeah.
Most of the time, and especially if you're not doing anything wrong. Like, if you didn't do anything wrong, what do you care? Like,
Yeah.
Why you let Sharon get mad at you? Like, go ahead, be mad. Call who you need to call.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a fascinating space. And adults dealing with it is one thing. The conversation where I often get to is like, the average age that we start social media is pretty young,
Yeah.
man. And I've had some people, in my extended network and beyond, even stories that I've read of like devastating outcomes because of interactions that children had on social media.
Yeah.
And it's like that there's not a comprehensive picture of that, an understanding of that, or at least a want to alleviate it.
Yeah. I've said a million times, I can't imagine what it would be like if I had social media when I was that age. Like,
I know.
I can't fathom what kind of trouble there would have been. It was bad enough going through high school when you could just talk shit about each other, and let alone put it on the internet and record things.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what kids are going. I mean, I've got a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. So, like I try my best to like show them these situations, right? And say, look, this guy's mad at me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. I don't know that person.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in my inner circle. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
But the hormones and the age and everything's firing in their brains and the neurons and everything. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, we don't have anything. There's nothing in the education system that I know of to help teach kids how to deal with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. If they're lucky enough to have parents that'll have the conversations and help them through it and stuff, that's great. But I don't know. It's not the majority, probably. What'd you say the oldest one is?
13.
13. On social media yet or no?
No, he just really doesn't want to.
Nice.
Yeah.
That seems to be a growing trend, and I'm kind of all about it.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll be in my videos, but that's the end.
Okay.
For him. Yeah. He doesn't want his own Facebook or LinkedIn or anything like that. And I said, if you ever get Snapchat, I'm taking your phone.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what gets shared on Snapchat, but it can't be good. It just can't be good with those kids.
That's the one that happened in my extended network. Yeah. With a devastating outcome. There's that thing happening where it's like a scam where they'll get the teenager to send them, like revealing pictures and then blackmail said person.
Yep.
And luckily, it seems like there's now being some like legislation written in place that at least provides, I don't know if justice is even the right word, because there is no justice really in that scenario.
They're not here. They're in some other country.
Right.
So,
yeah. But the stuff like that is terrible. And like, I teach social media marketing, and it's this constant tug of war between like the positives and the negatives of social media. Because I truly believe there are a ton of positives too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have better relationships with their friends and family because of social media. There's a lot of things that we learn and know now because of social media. And it's like a lot of things in life, balancing the positive and negatives and working through it. But it's a lot of times I think it's through the lens of youth. And I completely agree. Like Facebook was kind of just starting to be a thing right when I went to college. So I was still a knothead, but I was an adult knothead.
Yeah, right.
And, I think of 4 or 5 years prior to that, I was a bigger knothead. And like glad that stuff wasn't being posted online. And I feel for today's youth that have to navigate that and probably grow up quicker than they need to and all that stuff.
I always thought it would be a good assembly idea to get all the kids in the gym. Everybody has their phone. Teacher takes a selfie with one of the kids and say, okay, send it to 3 of your friends. When you get it, out there. You send it to 3 of your friends. And as soon as you get it, you raise your hand. And just watch how fast this one picture can travel throughout the entire school. And so, like, let's say you send in a nude, right? This is how fast everybody can get it and how fast it exponentially grows.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of give them the idea, like, let them understand, like, that's not to mention the fact that every one of those people in that scenario is now in possession of inappropriate kid pictures, right? So, like, to be able to, like, articulate that and explain it to them, I don't know if it would help or not. I have no idea, but I thought that would always be a good, like, assembly event to do.
Cool idea. Yeah. Eye-opening, if none the less, right? Because you wonder what that understanding is. I'm sure it varies, but, you know, the level of understanding of what they have about that and where it is, because it's, I don't know. It's easy to think we're hip to it,
Yeah, right.
you know, but we're
Right.
not.
You got
We're
no idea. You got no idea.
middle-aged adults.
Yeah.
The time has passed us by.
Yeah. And think about, like, when we went to those assemblies, how much do we really retain any of that information and, like, give a shit?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I recently found out I never investigated the truth about this or anything. So don't come after me, online army. But, I saw a thing where there was financial incentive for the police officers who did the, what was that? What was that, like, large scale Dare?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was financial incentive, and I'm waiting to see. We have a family friend from my hometown that is a retired police officer, and he was part of the Dare thing. I can't wait to see him because I want to say, like, you make money off of that.
I saw that whole thing too.
Isn't that wild?
It was a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
They
had sweet shirts though. The logo was perfect.
the marketing was on point.
Yeah,
It was on point, man. Yeah. But it's interesting. I can't remember why I started talking about that, but that was funny. I don't know, just the things, how we evolve as humans. I think social media has played such a huge part in how we interact with each other.
Yeah. It's made us angrier as a people.
Yeah.
From what I've been able to kind of observe. It just, people get really mad really easy.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has the idea that if somebody says something on the internet, that they're saying it right directly to them. Like, I feel like that's like I don't understand where that disconnect is. Like, if I posted something and it was a joke, but it was offensive to you, it doesn't mean it's offensive to everybody. It just means you didn't like it. But just because you didn't like it doesn't mean you got to be nasty and say that this is terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting to see, like, people get upset about, like, I did a joke, I think, about a blind guy or something like that, or something about a deaf guy or whatever. And people tried to come at me and said, you can't make fun of deaf people. I said, yes, I can. I just did it. And it's fine. If you don't like it, that's okay. If there's a deaf person that's mad at me, I get it. You know, that's fine. But it's just a joke.
My first, like, question in my mind in that instance is always like, are you deaf? Like, are you the person? Because then we could probably have a conversation. But I think that's part of it. I think people think that their posts have more influence than they really do. Like, we think we can puppeteer all of these parts of society just by making a comment. And it's like, you're going into the abyss. It's solely a reflection of yourself is all it is.
Yeah.
It's what, yeah.
Your content shouldn't be on Facebook. Well, you just commented on it. So now it's going to be on more people's Facebooks.
Yeah.
So, swing and a miss.
Do your dad jokes land with your kids?
No, they think I'm an idiot. So yeah, I guess they do. Yeah. Sometimes they like them. Sometimes they think they're funny, but not super often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that still, like, the main shtick? Like, do you still do the videos where you're like, hey, can I tell you a dad joke? And, like, is that the thing?
Yeah. Steph's getting busy. We don't see each other as much anymore, but I've got Deanna in the office, and we just hired a part-time person. So Mackenzie's going to get some crappy jokes thrown at her here and there, but right now I've got 3 years of jokes that I can just repost at this point when I, if there's a long lull between when I find a good one or think of a good thing to do. I'm trying to write some more stuff just to get into a little bit of more of a long form kind of funny stuff. So we're working through that, just more based on the dumb stuff we do in the office. Like, I bought a bus and I put my face on it. So we got to figure out some kind of way to make that into a thing. So
What? You bought a bus?
I
and
bought,
put your
yeah,
face.
I
Nice.
bought a short bus. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. I found it on Facebook Marketplace. Bought it and I took it in. I got my face put on it and logos and all that kind of stuff. And we drive it in parades and everything. But then the main reason I got it was all my kids are in sports. So we got basketball tournaments and stuff like that coming. Pile all the parents in. We got to go to the Dells this weekend. Pile them all in. Let's go.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's nice, comfortable ride. And put a TV in there. Got some music. We're all good to go.
Nice little write-off,
Ride
man.
in style, right? Yeah. Logos going all the way up, all the way back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's just, I like finding different random things to do that nobody, like, not a lot of people would think about.
Yeah.
Or people would think it's ridiculous.
Well, and at the foundation of it, that's often what effective marketing is, right? You're trying to get your unique value proposition out there in a creative way that gets through the noise, because we constantly live with all kinds of noise.
Yeah.
And what can you do to captivate attention and then make that attention useful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that the bus was the right thing to do because my wife told me that she thought it was clever. Most of the videos I do, she says, "Oh, that's cute." Almost everything I do, she's like, "Oh, that's cute. Cute." And then I know it's okay. But then she said, "You know what? Getting that bus and putting your face on it was clever." And I was like, oh, damn, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. She's like, people text me all the time when they see it driving around. They'll take a picture and they'll send it to me and say, "Oh, the bus is out." She's like, "That was pretty clever."
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Speaking of social media, I saw a video just the other day that said like a husband will hang on to that one compliment from his wife for months and just live on that.
Live everybody. I tell everybody that she thinks I'm clever. Everybody that'll listen.
That's the best. It's super true though. Super true. That's the best thing about a wife is, at least my experience with a wife is that is where I can go for the most authentic feedback.
Yeah.
That I could ever want.
Yep.
And really that's invaluable.
Yep.
Because even back to the leadership thing, like I don't want a bunch of people around me that are just yes people that say, "This is great. Like do this." My wife will tell me that, well, like when something sucks, she'll be like, "That's shit."
Yeah. Like our wives went to the same schools for wifing.
I think they have there's like a wife gathering school that they all go to that we don't know about, where they come up with these things. It's and it's valuable.
You're about to marry a moron.
Yes. Yeah. I tell her all the time she chose to say I do. She did.
Yeah. Yep. I tell her too, like, we got 3 kids. You're stuck with me now. Where are you going? Like you got baggage if you're gonna leave.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
It's tough out there.
It is. Yeah. That's great, man.
Okay, we got to get a little bit back into the Nicolay guy a little bit.
All right, let's do it. Yeah. So ultimately, that's how you reached out.
Yeah.
I made a video where, I had reached out to him to come on the podcast. He said he was too busy, and then started the podcast, which is eerily similar vibe to mine, similar conversations, a little bit bigger geographic area.
Sure.
But and that's all well and good. But yeah, that's why you reached out, man.
I got made up beef with the guy. I don't think, like I told you earlier, I don't think he knows that I have beef, but I'm the bald guy with a beard in Wisconsin. That's it. Like the only difference between him and me is I can't pay for a bunch of billboards everywhere. Like,
do you have a billboard?
I don't. But if I had billboard money to throw around, I'd put one right next to his after the ones that like insurance companies fear me. And it would just be me being, I'm not scared. But yeah, that like I said, when he first started coming in, I first started seeing him a lot. I'd see his TikToks and stuff like that, and I'd say, "Hey, get out of the state. I'm the guy. I'm the bald guy with the beard. You got to go." And then he wouldn't say anything, and then I'd say, "Well, shave your beard or leave. This is it. You don't have any choices." But then he did that thing where he's the official law firm of the Minnesota Vikings, and that was the final straw for me. I can't let that stand. So I did a video that said I would never, ever be the official insurance advisor of the Minnesota Vikings. And that's a poser move. He's got Viking stuff all over Minneapolis. All those huge billboards you see here with no Packer colors, those are all Vikings colors all over the place. My guess is, and again, this is just me spitballing here, but the Packers are a classy organization and they make good marketing decisions. The Vikings aren't.
I love that. Love that angle.
That's my thought. I don't know. And then again, that's just me, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had people say like, well, he's got a podcast. What if he asked you to be on it? And I said, I would be on it if he either takes down all his billboards or he shaves his beard, and then I'll go on his podcast. But that's it. Those are the only rules.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about marketing. We could talk about that for days and days. That's one thing he's done really well. He
definitely did.
Definitely
painted the highways with his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. And, but, we were talking about a little bit. I knew, I knew a little bit about his geographic targeting.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that he was the official law firm of the Minnesota Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's a conflict of interest in marketing, that's it.
It's a tough one. It's tough to get over. I don't think he wants us all to know about that over here.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of one of those hush-hush deals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to shed some light on it whenever I get a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's also got, he has got the, you ever see those house divided flags where the house divided, it'll have like Packers Vikings or Packers Bears or something. I guarantee, like, if I'm thinking of, okay, how do I PR this? How do I PR spin this? Which PR is a whole nother thing where I can love and hate at the same time.
Yeah.
If I PR spin this, he's in that zone where it's like, okay, maybe where he lives is like half and half.
Sure.
Because he's right on the border over there, I think, somewhere.
Yeah.
And I used to live in the UP where it's half Packers, half Vikings, or Lions.
Yeah. Okay.
And, there's probably a PR angle you can take there to be like, I'm just I'm serving everybody.
Yeah, I think that's the way he went with it when I finally posted and he actually replied to it.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're Packers and you're Lions, if you're a Lions fan, you're a solid hardcore fan, right?
Yeah.
Because the Lions have always been terrible. They're finally getting good, right? But if you've been a Lions fan forever, I've got respect for you. You can be a Packers and a Lions fan. I'm okay. Like, you can be the official law firm of the Detroit Lions. You will be busy, but not the Minnesota Vikings.
So it's
no, and that's only one worse would be the Bears.
The Bears would be terrible. Yeah, that was the first thing I thought about. I don't know if he's in Illinois too or not, but
I don't know. I don't go down there. It's not safe.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I drove through Illinois a while back, going to a concert in Indianapolis, and I logged on and I paid my tolls, which is just ridiculous the way it is. So I log on and I pay my tolls. And then just a couple weeks ago, the concert was in October. Just a couple weeks ago, I get a thing in the mail saying I have to pay my tolls. So I call and I talk to the nicest guy you could have ever wanted to be on the other side of the phone. Like, I called in ready to ready to talk about these tolls.
Yeah.
And we finally got to the bottom of it. For some reason, my payment must not have went through or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I ended up deep down the Reddit hole of this. And this had happened to other people. So I don't know where the break in the chain of it happening was, but like, my tolls didn't go through and there were like, I can't even remember, a little over $100 of fees added to these things.
Oh, yeah.
So I call and as nice as this guy was, I was like, I'm not going to pay all that extra money. Like, I did this already, even though says I didn't do it. Because I went through my credit card statement. There was no payment. So I didn't pay twice. But in our conversation, like, he pulled up my profile to pay tolls in Illinois. And I was like, dude, let's talk about this realistically. Would I have a profile to pay Illinois tolls if I wasn't going to pay the tolls? Like, I logged on to do that and created it. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And ultimately, I didn't have to pay the fees.
Oh, that's good.
But I can't remember what the actual thought was around it. Just talking about how bad Illinois is. I think that's the main thing.
It's weird that logic actually worked in that scenario. Usually when you go call any kind of thing like that, logic is not out the door.
Out the door. Yeah. Well, they could have, it was either that or come and get me.
Arrest you. Yeah.
I wasn't going to pay it. I wasn't going to pay it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess that was probably the main point, just to talk about how bad Illinois is.
Yeah.
And just
Bears fans in general.
Oh, they're the worst.
Awful. They are gonna take the North, but
maybe we'll see in a couple days. By the time this episode drops, we'll know.
Yeah, we'll know. Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Mike
saying
no back there, but I don't know. I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous.
Yeah, this weekend will be interesting. Or Sunday night, I think it is.
Saturday night.
Is it Saturday night?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm doing an early supper club so that I can make sure that I get back for the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to supper club Saturday night. Where's your spot down by Amro?
Hayes's.
Okay.
Hayes's supper club outside. It's called in a little town called Borth.
Borth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best steak I've ever had in my life. Hands down.
Isn't that classic Wisconsin? Drive 20 minutes to a town with 1,000 people that has the best supper club in the geographic
This has
area.
like 100 people in this town. Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
What do they do? A good prime rib, or what's the Saturday night thing you go for?
I usually just get a sirloin. Just
Okay.
a solid sirloin, and they got a good surf and turf deal where you get like a nice a hunk of crab too.
Okay.
Pretty good. Old fashions are good.
Okay.
They don't muddle. That's a problem for me usually, but they're all right.
Okay.
If you're premixing, if you got to premix old fashions, you're not really doing the supper club thing right. But their argument, because I've had this argument with the bartenders many times, because I'll say, just give me a muddler, and I'll do it. I don't mind doing it myself. And they're like, no, we're just too busy. Like, this is how we have to do it, because otherwise, if we had to muddle everybody's old fashions, nobody get drinks. And I get that. I resonate with that. I want to make sure I have my drinks.
Mhm.
So I understand. But
So here's my qualm. Here's my qualm with supper clubs.
okay,
Love the Wisconsin vibe and the connection to our culture. Supper clubs are awesome. The food's always banging. It's
Mhm.
always good. My qualm with it, and this has been amplified by two things. I've always felt this way, but it's been amplified by becoming a dad. I have a
Okay.
4-year-old, and it's been amplified by I quit drinking alcohol like 6 or 7 years. Well, more than that now, probably 8 years ago now. And my supper club appearances have dramatically decreased because of those two things. One, I can't go in and sit at a bar for an hour with a 4-year-old before we get seated at a table.
no,
It's not happening.
no,
Just not going to happen. Like, there's not enough coloring books in the world, or not enough games of I Spy in the world to make that work.
Mhm.
And two, like, you want me to take up a bar stool with my seltzer water and lime
Yeah.
that I'm going to drink?
They're gonna kick you right out of there anyway.
They're going to, and I'm going to get dirty looks
Mhm.
because they want their tips.
Mhm.
And so that has dramatically decreased my
Yeah.
supper club appearances.
fair.
And it's a bummer because the supper club food and the vibe I still love.
Yeah.
But I just don't go.
We when we started having kids, we didn't go anywhere. We didn't take them anywhere in public because they're the worst. Kids are terrible. They're just, oh my God. So we, for the longest time, kind of just got away from it. We didn't go out with friends, and we just didn't bring them life unless we had a sitter. We didn't go out. And now my oldest is old enough to babysit, so now we can start, going out and enjoying.
Take advantage of that
supper
labor
clubs and
you
stuff.
created.
Yeah, exactly. Why did I get them otherwise? But yeah, I couldn't imagine trying to take a kid to a supper club. I wouldn't even think about it. Like, it would just be an absolute disaster.
Well, especially with 3. You got 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
they'd be fun. Now they'd be fun there. But I'll wait till the oldest can drive, and then he can get me home and have more old fashions then.
Yeah. So that's my qualm. It's I love fish fries, man.
Yeah.
Fish fries my jam. And you can't get a to-go fish fry. Like, you don't
not
go
the
get a
same.
to-go fish fry.
Not
You
the
get it
same.
home, it's a little soggy. The
Yep.
fries stink. Like,
Yep.
so my fish intake is way down. My supper club
Your omega fatty acids are going to be way down.
way
there,
down.
too.
Brain
Yeah.
health out the
Yeah.
window, dude.
Oh, that's bad.
That's my qualm with it, though.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think mainly it sounds like the problem that you really had was having children, and that's that was my problem too. Here we are. I mean, the process is great. Worst roommates I've ever had.
Terrible roommates.
Really bad.
Yeah. Well, I would put it the best and the worst roommates that they've had. Sidebar, Austin, just while I'm looking at this, how's my camera shot with the sun shining directly into the... Is it bad? Okay, I'm going to stand up.
I got to roll pretty soon too, anyways. So
Are we getting close, Austin? How are we doing on time? 15. Oh, we are. How's that? Did that make it better? Yeah. Yeah, man. I usually come up by this time with a grandiose way to end it. I don't have it right now, though.
I mean, let me just tell everybody to buy insurance from me.
Yeah, that works. That works.
No, I mean, I really appreciate you having me on. I mean, I'm not. You've had some. I've kind of been looking through. I looked through a little bit. You've had some big deals around here on.
Yeah.
I am not that, but I'm happy to come on and be able to take on my soapbox of insurance and the bearded bald guy in Wisconsin. So I appreciate you having me.
Happy to have you, man.
Yeah,
Good to meet you. Good to chat. Good luck. Good luck with the insurance realm. Keep spreading the word in a real way to the people, and maybe you could get one billboard. You probably got one billboard money. You might not have all the billboard money, but if you have one billboard money, you could probably make some awesome social media content fueling that beef you've got with one billboard with you on it.
Yeah. I think between him and I, we could probably go, like, I kind of wanted him to take the bait in the beginning on the stuff I was posting, but he never took the bait. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
He's too big of a deal now.
He's a big deal. A lot of billboards. He probably has trouble going to the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
I would think.
I'm sure he hates that.
Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.